This is Cyndy G, and in this video I'm going to show you how to assemble the Gnome, the elf gnome lantern. So these lanterns are very quick and easy to put together. In fact, I think the longest part is putting the vellum on your panel pieces. So you want to use just a thin line of glue because you don't want your vellum to wrinkle too much. Mine started getting a little wrinkly. And then you just want to take your pieces and curve them a little around your finger because your lantern is rounded, so you want to have a nice curve to each one of your panel pieces here. Just use your finger and just curve it around. Okay. And then the pieces of our gnome. He's got a hat and a little bell for the top of his hat, his mustache and nose, his hands and cuffs to his sleeves, and his shoes. So I am going to start by putting on his shoes. And you're just going to line these up to the bottom. Try them both ways. Make sure you've got the angle right, because you could do it that way or that way. So you just want to make sure you've got it going the right way. Okay, just like that. And then we've got the hands. Now, the pieces for the back side are not included in the file, but if you want him to have a back side, just cut double pieces. And then you can have him decorated front and back. When you do the hat and beard pieces, I would just suggest to mirror them when you flip them, just in case they're a little bit off on the symmetry. And then you can have him decorated front and back. And if you leave off his nose and mustache, then it'll just look like the back of his head. There we are. And then his nose and mustache, this weird piece here is where you're going to glue the mustache onto, and you're just going to line it up here to the 2 points in the bottom. And then the top bigger curve is his nose. And I'm going to wait to put this on because I want to pop that up with some foam tape. And then the hat and beard pieces are these 3. You're just going to line this one up to the bottom. And you can see these two circles here are where the balls for the hat match up. Okay. So you can see these go together very quickly. And they add such a pop to your decorations, and they're really easy to get together. So it's a nice project to have to work on. So you've got these two pieces. You've got one with a slit on the top and the bottom of the top and the bottom, and then you have this one with the slits just on the outside. So this one goes on first. You just slide that in like this, and then this one can fit into the slits top and bottom. If you find yourself having trouble getting one of the pieces in, like you're like, wait, there's no slit, you've probably put the wrong one in first. Okay, so take a look at that. And then with this piece, each one of these slits here fits into the notch. It fits all the way in here, that's to the center. Okay, so you just and then each one of these fits in a slot. Okay, so you just want to kind of fold this into the center to bend it so that you can get it up and in these slots. Oops. Just take your time. Try not to get too frustrated with it, which is what I tend to do. And now it's seated in, oh, I didn't have that one in. Just check, make sure each one of your notches is holding that piece in. And it holds it pretty steady. To get it out, you would just kind of bend it towards the center and then pull it out. Okay. And then you kind of do the same thing putting it on. Let me get the slots back in. Okay. So that's the top one. The second one that you put in will be a little bit more difficult because it's already being held in place, so you don't have as much flexibility with it when you're doing the other piece. So you just have to be a little more patient with that piece. What's going on? Okay. And again, just hook each one of these all the way into the slot so that it is secure and will stay together when you pick it up. Okay. All right, and now that I've got that done, I'm going to use some foam tape here on my mustache. And you're going to line up this edge of the face with the bottom edge of the hat. Just like that. Okay. And then just slide your panels in. Now these panels have a little notch on them. So when you slide it in, you just want to kind of take it at the top and make sure it's snapped in. and snap it into the bottom. It just takes a little pinch there. It's not super tight, it's just enough to hold them in. Now I've done my panel pieces white so that it kind of looks like his beard. But if you wanted to match his clothes or do another festive color, like for bells, do the gold, that would be cute too. But there he is. That is the Gnome Elf Lantern. Thank you for joining me.